2023. Roderick Kearney. Let's start with him. Why don't we start with the big boy? The 6th rated interior offensive lineman in the country, Logan. This is a good get.
This is a fantastic grab. I talked about it last week on our show, and maybe on this show, or I think I did almost. I don't know if it was here or Hear the Spear, but I was starting to get the feeling that it was time for Kearney to go ahead and pop. You know, being able to see him in person. I think you were there too, maybe, James, but I got to see him at the elite camp, and just him next to some of the other guys. You know, it's a big difference. That's an SEC type offensive lineman you're getting, and that's a guy that already has size, and you don't have to do much trimming on him. Like, this is a well built kid with talent. You can move him kind of anywhere. Depends on where Florida State wants to put him. But I'm really excited for this pickup for Coach Atkins and what they were able to do here with Kearney. You know, they built that connection very, very early on, and he has been to campus more than I have this entire summer by far. And he just keeps on coming over and being around as much as possible. He's hanging out with a lot of the current players on the team. And, you know, it's just and then you go to UF and you take a visit there, and then about an hour later you're like, oh, let's just go ahead and pop and get the graphic posted and everything. So and there I mean, you know, there's things that, you know, you take that UF visit and some of the staff, what they tell you, and, you know, some of it may be true, some of it might be just a whole session of trying to talk badly about what Florida State has and trying to talk badly about Coach Atkins. That kind of turned Kearney, I think, the wrong way and made him say, yeah, I know where home is, and that's Florida State. So now Florida State continues to build there at the offensive line. But I think this is a ginormous pickup. I wanted this to happen before the season. You know, we kind of had floated around the idea of, you know, maybe potentially when he wanted to commit and such, and it could go into his senior season, but I'm extremely glad. And I think Florida State fans should be really happy that they're able to grab him before the season begins, because, you know, I think teams are still going to come after him heavily. This is a talented offensive lineman that Florida State was able to add.
James,
I was going to say, I got a chance to see. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's what I was going to ask you, because you're obviously in the Jacksonville area. You've seen him more because he's from that First Coast area.
Orange Park, yeah.
Yeah, Orange Park area. We're talking about 6'4", 300-pound guy. Logan touched on a little bit. What kind of athlete is
I think you can take it from there, James.
The best video that you can see of him isn't his blocking. He's posted 2 clips of him playing short yardage running back, and oh my God, it's love. It is not like fullback style, like you're putting him 5 yards. Like, he's 7 yards back there. And it's actually, you know, obviously you're not expecting him to break a long run, but he's pretty explosive. He's getting the short yardage. It's kind of like, it's the best you'll be able to see with a guy like him pulling, because he's moving with evil intentions upon contact, which is what you want. But, like, to piggyback on some of the things that Logan said, I got a chance to see him at Coach Norvell's youth camp. That was the first time this summer that I've been to Tallahassee, to FSU's campus, to see stuff. And he was there. He already looks on par with Armella, Quayshawn Sapp, probably in better shape than those guys, which is one of the things that I think is the most unique about him is, like, he's at Orange Park High School, and there's no disrespect to what they do at OP. But, you know, most high schools don't have a very great strength and conditioning program. Most high school kids don't have good nutritional access that they have in college. And I think just seeing that, and to quote one of my boys, Grimes, at Behind the LOS on Twitter, are they either rushing the passer or protecting the passer? He's like, everything else, we ain't playing 7-on-7 out there. So this is one of those things where Atkins continues to add towards that. And I remember seeing Atkins and just saying, hey, man, who's that? Is that? And he, you know, broke it down to me. Just told me some things about the kid from that he's peeped and recognized. This was, again, a full week before the commitment that he had. He was just saying, like, the kid doesn't really like the recruiting process like that. He's like, it's too much salesmanship, too many things like that. He really just is kind of a cut and dry, to the point type kid. And, you know, Atkins, you know, speaking very truthful to a lot of these linemen. He said, we're taking 2 to 3 max. He's like, at that time, I brought in 9. And shout out Warchant. bless your heart. Just stop breaking commitments. But we ended up getting 10 that day, that next day. But you know, Atkins is like he has enough guys that he's brought in that can, you know, build the foundation, and they're probably gonna have to move some guys out that he can be very selective moving forward with the type of builds, the type of bodies that he wants to bring into the fold. But so I mean, look at Lucas Simmons and I'm trying to think. Can't remember the other kid's name, but it's another offensive tackle type build. I think 6'7" kid. I can't remember out of where, but it's, you know, just look at, those are the things that we're looking at right there with Atkins, and just complete faith with him. And then, you know, just looking at, you know, like I said, what he said about the kid, and then what the kid turns around and does, even with a little bit of to the University of Florida, adding that little pain. I appreciate that, especially when they thought he was a slam dunk as opposed to recruit. Oh, and another tidbit: Jacksonville is big on recruiting high schools. So I know a coach at a high school here locally that just kind of ribbed him a couple years ago about leaving Orange Park High School. And even then, he's just no nonsense. He's a loyal kid. And so I really believe that outside of something like real tragic happening, like, you know, like Coach Atkins leaving or something like that, I firmly believe that this kid, even with people trying to come at him hard, is going to be committed through National Signing Day.